It's taking a long time. There it is. God, every time. Okay.
Every time. I know. We never get the timing right, guys. It's just get used to that. Like every time we start, it's going to be awkward and weird. Welcome to Taco Tuesday. Good morning.
Probably true.
Good morning. Yeah, I guess it's almost afternoon for some of you guys. It's Taco Tuesday. This is where we talk about fitness and food and probably some, other weird stuff. I'm Brandon. If you don't know me, yeah, not intentionally. It's not like we write a script. I'm Brandon. If you don't know me, I'm a personal trainer, a health coach, and what else am I? A physical therapist assistant.
You're a good dude.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown. This is Nick. I'll let Nick introduce himself.
I've got some credentials. I don't need to rattle them off. It's okay. Anyway.
Now you made me feel like a douche. All right. I'm just a guy. I'm just a man with a cup of coffee. So what's our topic today? We Nick, you asked a question on Friday.
Yeah, it was, how have you felt after a heavily restrictive diet? I think I gave a couple options, and we got some good responses, and I want to dive into those in just a little bit. But that's kind of like what we're getting into today, right? It's because there's so much information out there, and it's like, which one do I actually listen to? Which one is going to work for me? And like in the description of this, it's some of them work. Some of them don't work at all. And are they going to keep the results that you got if they did work?
Yeah, no. Do any of them keep working? Right.
Right.
And that's to me, that's what defines whether something works, is if it is sustainable, whether it keeps working, whether you get to actually keep those results.
Right. So I think we're going to dive into some benefits of actually going on a highly restrictive diet, right? And what actually happens. Yeah, absolutely. And I think I know we're gonna touch base on what actually happens to your body. During and probably more likely after. And we're gonna give you a little bit of hope moving forward as well. That's what the goals are here.
Yeah, we want to give you some answers, right? That's what people are here for.
Yeah. So if you didn't answer my question, a few days ago, have you ever been on a highly restrictive diet and felt good about it? That's really what I want to know. Did you feel good about going on a highly restrictive diet?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, I mean, I think we pretty much established that just about everyone here has been on a diet at some point, if not many. Like that's a pretty popular answer that we get. Like I've done every diet. We hear that a lot. Right?
Yeah.
And we know that a calorie deficit is necessary to lose weight, right? That's a fact. There's no getting around that.
Yep, that is true.
Right. And we know there is, a lot that goes into that, but more to today's point, we know like our bodies need a certain amount of calories to maintain basic functions also, right? So there's a balance here. Mm-hmm. Some people are pretty surprised by kind of the basic guidelines, right? In terms of like to get into the math, right? I think I mentioned in the post that we're going to get into a little bit of the math, but basic guidelines, are kind of surprising to some people. Like 2,000 to 2,500 calories is.
Yeah. So let's highlight that though. Like that's basic guidelines.
Right. Of course, it's different for everybody.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Basic guidelines. It's going to be depending on your age, your height, your what you identify as, and how much activity you get. And there's a ton of other things too, like your basal metabolic rate, which is science. Don't worry about it. Yeah. That can make a huge difference as well.
Oh, that is huge. It's probably the biggest factor is your basal metabolic rate, but it depends on those factors.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. It's a whole cycle.
But those calories, right? Those are for just maintaining normal body function, right? Right. And, you know, again, that varies from person to person, but again, like doing the math, right? We know 1 pound of fat, to lose a pound of fat requires a 3,500 calorie deficit. So if you restrict yourself, right? So this 1,000 calorie diet that you brought up, that's one of these things that's out there. Restricting yourself to 1,000 calories a day and your needs are 2,000 to 2,500.
Yeah, that basic guideline.
Yeah, that's a 1,000 calories, 1,500 calorie deficit a day, right?
Yeah, so that's
7,000.
basically starving yourself. So
yeah,
I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, 7,000. So you're talking about a 7,000 to what, 10,500 calorie deficit per week. That's absolutely nuts.
But
absolutely,
you know what?
Crazy.
That's also it's between like 2 and like 3 and some change pounds a week, right? And so like a lot of people say, I want that. That's what I need to do. I need to drop that much weight.
Right.
That quickly. It needs to happen.
So would you say that this talk is more about expectations than anything?
Yeah, I would say that's probably good. But it's also like,
great.
You know, what else? I mean, right in the description of this, the benefits of, you know, a highly restrictive diet, right? So it might look really good on paper, like that 2 to 3 pounds. That's something that people want.
Yeah, that's definitely the positive about it.
But like you said, it's way below like your body's needs.
Yeah.
And,
well, calories are not just numbers, right?
Right.
They're not just something we measure for weight loss. They're energy. They're what we require to function properly. Without them, weird shit happens. All right. Your body's going to have an opinion about not having any, you know, nearly enough energy coming in.
Definitely. There's going to be issues coming out with that. Absolutely. We don't need to dive into like those issues just yet. Maybe that's another day, but,
well, we're going to get into a few of them, but
true. But let's move forward. Yeah. So, without changing the topic, like, I don't want to lie. I don't want to tell people like they're not going to get the results that they want from a highly restricted diet. It'll be effective, but
yeah, if all you want is to see that number drop on the scale, that's how to do it.
And we're going to dive into that. But like I asked earlier, I do at this point, have you ever tried one of those ultra restrictive diets? I know I asked this just a little bit ago. And you know, I asked it in our group too, and we got some really good answers there. Some people tried the juicing diet. Some people tried Weight Watchers. Some people tried the Whole30 diet, which I personally don't know much about that one. But none of them, for those people and their answers, none of those were sustainable. They're either not sustainable or it's too restrictive and they fall off the wagon.
Yeah, that's
so. Anybody who's watching out there right now, I am interested. Is there something that you've tried? How did you feel about it? Did it work?
Yeah.
Did it last? Did your results last? How long have you been doing it? How long has it been since that?
Yeah. Or was it like, or is it one of those things that you've like tried several times? I see that a lot. Like, oh, I gotta jump back on with this. I gotta do this again. And I fell off and I gained 20 pounds or whatever. We see that all the time.
Yeah. So we'd love to hear, you know, some of your experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Let us know. How did those work out for you? So yeah, I mean, you started listing the benefits of some of these diets, like, and there are, like, at the end of the day, they all work. To be clear, they all work because of calorie restriction. That's how it works. Like, all of them. It doesn't work without that. And so when you see tons and tons and tons of weight dropping off, right? we see that as a positive for the most part. We want results fast.
And that's what we all look for. That's especially in this day and age. Right now, I got to have it right now.
Right now, I want it yesterday. Yeah,
Yep.
and that's, I get it.
And,
Totally.
and I don't want to spend any money on it. It needs to be free.
So that's the other thing, right? Like they're
those
very affordable.
Yeah. So those are two like super highly sought after benefits of one of those restricted diets. It's it's affordable, like you said. It's very cheap. You save money because you're probably not eating anything, and anybody can just not go buy food, but it's painful and not enjoyable. You might anyway. We'll get into that anyway.
Yeah, they're affordable. They're affordable. That's definitely it. You're saving money, not buying food. You're saving money, not getting, whatever guidance. Not having to be at some of these required classes.
Roll around on Facebook and you can see what you should be doing.
Yeah, certainly.
And the other benefit is it can be very effective, right? Like that's what we kind of summarized there. Not gonna lie about it. It's simple. It works. Okay. It can be effective, but for how long? The downside of these things, the downside of those highly restrictive diets, these are the scary things. These are the things we try to avoid. It's not going to help you in the long run.
Oh God, yeah.
Should we just dive in? Should we
go down the list? I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is lack of nutrients, vitamins, micronutrients.
Deficiencies.
Yeah, totally. Oh God, you go into some of these, you're like, people are talking about hair loss and constipation, and
which is
the other thing. Weaker nails, but other things start, if you really don't get enough calories, you're going to see things going on with your heart rate, your heart rhythm, muscle wasting.
Yeah. And for women, they could fall into, I think it's amenorrhea, where their menstrual cycle is completely thrown off, which is a dangerous thing to be in.
No, yeah, there are all kinds of, reproductive issues are very, very common with a lot.
Seriously, yeah. So that all comes from a lack of nutrients. We're not talking about calories anymore, although with nutrients come calories, right?
Right.
But which one's going to get you farther? The leafy salad or the greasy cheeseburger?
Yeah, we just jumped into like the really scary stuff. I'm
moving forward. We're pushing it.
Your brain, right? Your brain.
Seriously, yeah. That's a big part of my world is my brain health, and that is, it has to have specific nutrients, which some diets eliminate completely, and it has to have that. That's what it runs on.
Yeah.
So that can be a scary thing.
No sugar, no carbohydrates, no brain function.
Right.
Sure. Massive slowing of the metabolism. That's the thing that usually gets people at some point at the end, that really gets people to kind of see the light. I think you'd agree.
Absolutely, definitely.
They stop, like, one, their body doesn't, they lose weight, but their body still doesn't look or feel the way that they want it to. And then it is extremely difficult for them to repair their metabolism.
Right. Yes. Yeah, definitely. And that's what we come across often.
And then you're really behind.
And then you can't, it's a struggle to, when you say repair, he means to come back to the point you were before you lost all that weight. Because by then you put it all back on. Then you're trying to fight what you've put on plus the weight that you had before.
And your furnace isn't working. Right. It's not burning the same. Like that's what we talk about when we talk about basal metabolic rate, like how many calories your body burns in a day just being alive.
Yeah.
Right. Calorie restriction, severe calorie restriction makes that plummet. So your body's like, yeah, we're only burning a few calories a day. What's up, Gina? And so, you go back to normal eating. Now you're putting more calories in, like a normal person, which is what you should have been doing in the first place, right? And you're not burning them at the same rate that you were before.
Right. That was a good summary of basal metabolic rate. I'm glad you threw that in there because I hadn't even thought about that. That's like where we think, right? It's just constant. But a lot of people Would
Well,
make
we talk
sense.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. But that's most of your calories, right? Your calories, you burn most of them is
Just
most of the
living.
calories we burn are due to our basal metabolic rate. It's not our workouts. Those are bonuses. They're great. They're awesome. You got to do it. There are a million other benefits to it, right? To exercising or being active, but they don't burn the majority of your calories, right?
And because of that, you know, your basic metabolic, whatever, that word we keep saying, that because that's so low, and you're, you know, if you're on one of these restricted diets and it's so low, that doesn't support exercise at all. So if you go and burn more calories than you're even consuming, that becomes a problem. Now we're falling into a complete deficit. That we might call,
yeah, it's really crazy. Your body won't let you do it. So we talked about all these like things that, you know, these health consequences, but what about just how you feel when you really restrict your calories? Yeah,
that's the topic of this whole talk, right? Is like, we want you to feel good. We don't, like, the last thing we're doing, we're not pushing a restricted diet. We're not pushing anything about that. We're not pushing a, you know, a crazy, you know, this is going to fix all your problems in your whole life thing either. But we want you to feel good. And so by restricting yourself, you're not doing yourselves any favors by restricting yourself.
Right. This is about quality of life, right? Exactly. I mean, that's it. So yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, if there's no joy in your life, you're, you know, from because you're restricting yourself constantly, that's not going to last, right?
Nobody wants that. Right? Yeah,
runs out.
Yeah, and nobody wants that self-loathing, that self-hate, like, oh, I wish I could have that, but no, I have to do this because this is what I want to do.
Right.
Nobody wants that. We want to feel love. We want to feel joy. We want to feel peace.
Right.
And we want to feel good about who we are and what we see in the mirror. That's true. But one has to come before the other.
And in control.
Otherwise, it's never going to work.
Yeah. And
or as Brandon says, a lot of times it's balance. You got to find that balance.
Right. Right. Oh yeah. Find that sweet spot. I mean, it's no, you know, we have to be totally realistic about the fact that, you know, yeah, to be at a healthy weight, to be healthy, requires some work, right? Requires some activity. It requires some control, some self-control. But
only for how long? For how long?
Too much. How long? Forever. I mean, that's your life, right?
Well, I like to think of it like, once you have built that pattern, you built that discipline, it's just there.
Right.
It takes, as you were saying, it takes time to get to that point.
Yes. That's exactly it.
There's no easy, simple switch. There's no magic pill. There's no magic diets that's going to work perfectly for everybody.
Right. And so these diets, a lot of them are just kind of based on something that you do for a while to lose weight. And I don't know if I necessarily disagree with that idea, but at the very least, once you have lost that weight, you need to be taught how to live a lifestyle that maintains your weight. If we're just talking about weight right now,
but that's the key, right? We talked about this before. Taught,
yeah,
because in most of those diets are like, just don't eat any of these things, but they don't teach you how to continue to go after you got your results, because it's not something that you can live with.
Right. So we've established that it works. Restrict calories, right?
Yeah, it does work. That's a simple.
Can you expect long-term results? Right. Well, I think we've covered that too. Right. But there's a pretty direct correlation between how rapidly you lose weight and it not being permanent, the permanence of your program. Those are generally inversely proportionate, right? The more rapid your weight loss, the less likely you are to keep it off, which is a brutal thing to hear. I know, like that sucks.
Yeah. And you know what? Whether this kind of result is satisfactory to you on an individual level, that's up to you, for you to decide, right? I mean, it's not up. We can't tell you what you want. We can't tell you what you're going to do. But there's a lot of, those are just some of the big rocks. There's a lot of other super negative effects that come from a restricted diet like that.
Yeah, it's people are willing to put up with a lot. That's what I have learned in a lot of these groups. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about bad mood and headaches, fatigue, insomnia. Insomnia is a big one that we hear about.
And not to mention, most often than not, because of these restricted diets, when you go back to whatever a regular diet would be, it causes rapid regain.
Yeah, I know. We
kind of
hit
touched
that.
on that.
We hammer that point home a lot, but it is so true. That's probably what we see more than anything. You know, that's one of the biggest things people come to us for. I lost a bunch of weight 2 years ago. Last year I gained it all back and then some, you know, and more. That's what we see a lot. Definitely. And it can hit you in other areas of your life. I mean, if you're depleting your energy all the time, right? What is that going to mean for your work? I mean, this can affect your money, right? We talk a lot about, like, you know, health, wealth, and relationships.
Yeah.
Right. And the health part is pretty obvious. Wealth is really abstract to a lot of people, though. Right. That's what a lot of people are like, I don't get how this. I mean,
but if their productivity, if their productivity is affected because they're exhausted,
right,
it's definitely going to affect their wealth.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, these are the things that really kind of get in the way, right? This is why it doesn't end up working in the long run. But what does work? That's what I want to talk about. That's what I like to get into.
Yeah. What kind of coaches would we be if, like, we didn't dive into some of that?
Right. Well, and people, you know, people ask what we do all the time, and yeah, I mean, what works? You know, working with us works.
Shameless plugs.
Right? No, but really, what do we do? Like, that's what I want you to. You know, I'm happy to give that away. Right? What would you say are, like, the biggest things that work about what we do?
Mastery. Like, it's one thing at a time, and sometimes, like, I'm gonna be honest. You know, like you said, you're gonna give it a lot of it away. In the very beginning, people are like, "This is too easy."
Oh my God, yeah.
But then a few weeks later,
I'm not doing enough.
Crap, why is this working?
Yeah, I feel like I'm not doing enough. Yeah, we hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Give me more. Yeah, I get that a lot. I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like it's not hard enough. I feel like I'm not working enough. And
I need a rigid plan. I need somebody to tell me exactly what to eat. I need somebody to tell me exactly how I should work out. That's not it.
I need more homework. It's that multitasking thing too. Like, that's kind of how I look at this. Like, if we give people a whole bunch of things all at once to work on, like, we know that multitasking really is a myth. We're not, like, doing several things at once. We're rapidly jumping back and forth. And really, to me, multitasking means I'm doing a whole bunch of things at a lower level.
Like crap.
Yeah, I'm just not doing them as well as I should be, rather than focusing on one thing and doing it right and getting it done.
And that may not only mean just weight loss. That could be, you know, I'm trying to focus on all these other things. I'm trying to focus on losing weight. I'm trying to focus on being a parent. I'm trying to focus on work, what I'm doing at work. I'm trying to focus on, how about just let's one piece at a time.
Right. Our lives are already busy. Right. And so if you're going to add stuff to it, we can't just dump a big load of different things on you. So gradual progress. Yeah. Mastery of one thing at a time. The needle moving habits. Right. And I mean, you know, there's no getting around, like, some of the basics. I mean, a lot of people don't want to talk about what they do. A lot of coaches don't want to talk about what they do or what people pay them to do, but, you know, it's basic stuff. Everybody knows it, right? It's our eating habits, it's activity.
But it's based on that one piece at a time. And I think that's really what moves the needle.
Yeah. There are other things, though, that people don't realize really move the needle, right? You know, hydration, sleep, stress.
Yeah. Cutting out carbs completely, I don't think that's necessarily a key mover
to work. No, it's not. It'll make things happen.
Maybe for a little bit, maybe for a couple of years, but eventually you're gonna find a path that works better.
Yeah. Well, developing realistic expectations. Like, you know, I used to have this coach who would always say, like, all of our problems, right? They're in our head, right? That's where they really exist. And, having a realistic expectation about how quickly you should move forward, right? We did that math earlier, and realizing that, to lose 5 pounds of fat in a week requires a really, really massive deficit of calories. Like, so you have to be realistic about what it looks like to move forward. And that's hard for a lot of us, right? You just know I want to lose pounds. That's all we know, right? Understanding and knowledge and realistic expectations. Why do you think what we do works so well?
Because we create, I think, positive expectations over time. I really believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, that is part of developing a healthy and a real way of living. Does that answer? Does that make sense? Is that
a real way of living? Certainly. And it's not based on deprivation, like you said. Like people tell us all the time that they think that that it should be hard, right? And it's not.
It doesn't have to be
suffering away. No, it doesn't have to be. It can be. I mean, you'll see. When it gets. You'll see it right in the group. When it gets hard for most people, it's usually because they're trying to move faster.
Right. Definitely. And it's not necessarily bad to want to move faster.
Yeah.
The problem comes from that it's can I keep that up for any specific? It's like sprinting. Yep. You can only sprint for like 382 meters before you really start. I don't know. I just made that number up, by the way. But you can only sprint like at your you can only sprint at your all out for a short period of time.
Right.
And the same goes for this stuff.
Right. I also think it works because it's actually healthy, right? Like you can do this. I mean, we teach people how to eat, what to eat, when to eat, what activities they should be doing. And it's doable, it's not super outrageous, and they feel a lot better. They feel better rather than feeling worse, right? Or feeling super restricted. Yeah, definitely.
I just had a really good call yesterday, and I don't want to put names out there because we've been told maybe it's weird, but yeah. And if this gal is watching, maybe she can say, that was me, I said that. But what she said was, I feel better right now than I have ever felt in my life. And like, I honestly, I almost cried because I was like, that is what we've set out to do. That's what we've set out to do. And
that's the thing. No, that's huge. I know. And that really is the thing. Like when you work as a coach for a while, like you get all kinds of results. You try a lot of different things. You learn a lot of different things. You see what the rest of the industry is doing. And, Nick's a good dude, everyone. Like that's why I partnered with him. He genuinely, to speak to you, Nick, you genuinely have your eye on what is best for this person today, tomorrow, and for their future. And that is pretty rare in this.
So you want a real answer. So I guess they're all been real answers, but you asked me, but I go, what do you think? Why do you think what we do works? I think it's because we're providing actual tools, actual resources and skills and the knowledge that is needed to continue doing this for more than just the short period of time that you're with us.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was clear enough, but that's what I got.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. We're not just providing here's a meal plan for. Yeah. We have our eye on long-term, permanent, sustainable lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Without being, as least restrictive as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's not us. Like we are not restricted people by any means. We just figured it out. But here's the thing though. You don't have to take anybody who's listening, you don't have to take our word for it. You don't. If you're part of the group, drop the fat, not the tacos, you've probably seen some of the others who are working with us now. You've seen some of their posts. You've seen some of their check-ins. You've seen us, conversing with them. And like, feel free to jump in, ask them. And if you're not part of the group, join us.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of really good resources in there. And I'm sure that anybody who's working with us right now or has worked with us in the past, they wouldn't mind talking about their accomplishments. I mean, who wouldn't? That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, totally. No, it's true. There's a lot of success in that group. So I think we've, and I hope if anybody has questions, like we're happy to answer them. And I hope, that this was clear. When we do these, I like to give answers. It probably doesn't, behoove us, but I think knowledge should be free. And, I do want to give real answers. Like, I hate it when I listen to a talk or a podcast or something, and they're like, we're going to give you the secret to, everything. And then they don't really give you anything at all. I want to make sure you get answers, like, ask us questions. Yeah. I really do feel strongly about that. And like I said, it probably doesn't help me at all.
No, it's good. It is good. It is good that you do that.
Yeah, I think it's important, because I hate that. Like, we're going to give you the answers and you get no answers. No, I want to give you answers. So
we're coming up on our time here. I don't want to cut you short, but I'm cutting you short.
No, you need to. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Yes, definitely. And if you're in the group, keep pushing. You're doing great things. And if you enjoyed this, join the group. And we'll see you out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're much better pros than I am.
I always like to end with encouraging you guys to keep doing what you're doing and lifting each other up. That's the biggest thing that I see. Keep providing each other support. Ask for support. Share your stories. Share your meals. Share your successes. Share your struggles. All of that stuff. That stuff really, really helps the people around you. It helps you, and we want to be there for it. That's why we started this group. So thank you 100%. For being here. We love you guys. Nick's going to hit the big red button now.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.